Imagine being so rich that your vacation crashes another country's economy. Well, this actually happened. In the 1300s, an African king named Mansa Musa went on a religious trip, and as a direct result of his actions, unleashed an economic crisis in which prices skyrocketed, currencies collapsed, and entire regions took more than 10 years to recover. And here's the twist. He wasn't some calculating evil ruler seeking to financially cripple another nation. He was just really generous. This is the story of how the richest man in history accidentally broke economies, and what it teaches us about how even good things can go very, very wrong. Mansa Musa became ruler of the Mali Empire around the year 1312. At the time, Mali wasn't just a small, forgotten kingdom. It was a world superpower. Mali controlled enormous gold mines and important trade routes across the Sahara Desert. At one point, the empire produced over half of the world's gold supply. So when we say he was rich, we're not exaggerating. Some modern historians estimate his fortune would equal $400 billion today, richer than the top billionaires combined. Under his rule, cities like Timbuktu became legendary centers of learning, filled with libraries, scholars, and grand mosques. Mansa Musa wasn't just wealthy. He was also deeply religious and incredibly ambitious. In 1324, he decided to go on the Hajj, the sacred pilgrimage to Mecca that every Muslim is encouraged to make at least once. But Musa didn't travel like an ordinary pilgrim. Oh no, he set out with an enormous caravan, tens of thousands of followers, soldiers, servants, officials, and around 80 camels, each carrying up to 300 pounds of gold. That's nearly 12 tons of gold crossing the desert. It wasn't a mere journey, it was a golden parade. And everywhere he went, he gave gold away. He gave to the poor. He tipped merchants and servants generously. He built mosques along the way. But when Musa reached Cairo, his exceeding generosity gave rise to disruption and chaos. Cairo was one of the great cities of the Islamic world, a beating heart of trade and culture. As he passed through, Mansa Musa handed out gifts, bought supplies, and effectively poured unbelievable amounts of gold into the city. The problem was that gold wasn't just a shiny metal. It was the basis of money itself. And when you suddenly flood a city with gold, its value drops. And that's exactly what happened. The Egyptian marketplace was overwhelmed. Gold lost its value, prices soared, and currencies destabilized. Historians say Musa's generosity caused massive inflation in Egypt. And Cairo's economy didn't fully recover for over a decade. Imagine someone today dumping billions of dollars into a single city overnight. At first, everyone feels rich, but suddenly rent spikes, food prices explode, and everyday life becomes next to impossible as wealth seemingly vanishes into thin air. In reality, Mansa Musa's well-meaning kindness broke the system and despite all good intentions created an economic crisis. On his way back, he reportedly had to borrow gold from Egyptian merchants just to help stabilize the local economy, essentially trying to undo the chaos he had unintentionally caused. Generosity had turned into damage control. But the dark shadow cast by Musa's generosity didn't stop there. Word of this richest man alive spread across Europe and the Middle East. In a world where few had even imagined such fabulous wealth, his story captured imaginations everywhere. Even mapmakers began including him on their charts, a golden figure sitting on a throne, holding a massive nugget of gold. One of the most significant medieval world maps, the Catalan Atlas of 1375, features exactly that image. His pilgrimage put Mali on the map, literally, and sparked centuries of interest in West Africa's gold. But that attention wasn't harmless curiosity. Eventually, others came seeking that same wealth, setting the stage for exploitation decades later. Despite this dark side, Mansa Musa's reign also marked Mali's golden age. He funded scholars, built mosques, and encouraged education. The great Djinguereber Mosque in Timbuktu still stands as a symbol of his legacy. But after his death, the story shifted. His successors couldn't manage or defend such a vast empire. Trade routes changed, new rivals rose, and Mali's prosperity slowly faded. The empire built on mountains of gold couldn't sustain endless prosperity and abundance. It's almost poetic. Mansa Musa's generosity built an age of glory, but the flood of gold that made him legendary also gave way to the decline that followed. So what does all this mean? We live in a world obsessed with more. More money, more followers, more giveaways. Social media loves to celebrate the big gifts and massive acts of generosity. And while giving is good, Mansa Musa's story reminds us that it's not that simple. True impact isn't just about the size of the gift, but the wisdom behind it. It's a lesson in unintended consequences, a reminder that without foresight, even the greatest generosity can become a destructive force. Too much gold, even when given freely, can darken the world it was meant to brighten. So, the next time you see an act of massive generosity or unimaginable wealth, remember the man whose kindness shook the world. Thanks for watching this episode of Rich History. Please like, subscribe, and comment below for more of the incredible stories of history's wealth builders. Tell us, which story of wealth, power, or downfall should we explore next? Stay tuned, because every fortune has a flip side, and we're just getting started.